Thank you so much for joining us today, Elijah. It's great to have you here.
Thanks. I'm very glad to be here.
So, how has the rehearsal process for SpongeBob the Musical been so far?
It's been really fun, honestly. It's been, we started a couple months ago, so, it's just been a blast, like learning the choreography and learning the music. It's really fun.
So, how familiar were you with SpongeBob before being cast in the show?
Not very familiar, honestly. I never grew up with SpongeBob. Like, I never watched the show growing up, but just like getting to learn all the music and everything, it's been really fun.
So this was not like a formative show growing up for you.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fair. So, what is the story of SpongeBob the Musical, and then what character are you playing, and how does it factor into the narrative of the show?
So I'm playing Mr. Krabs in the show, and in SpongeBob the Musical, they find out the citizens of Bikini Bottom, they find out that the volcano Mount Humongous is going to erupt and basically just going to obliterate Bikini Bottom. And so the show tells the story of like different characters and how they react to that and what they're going to do now that their town is going to be obliterated, basically.
It sounds like in true SpongeBob fashion. It's kind of dark mixed with a lot of light there.
Right, right.
Is it? I have not seen this show, but I assume it's very comedic, correct?
Yes. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Which also follows with the show a little bit.
How do you feel like it balances that tone then of like obliterating Bikini Bottoms, but also being funny about it?
Yeah, so I feel like they do take it seriously, but at the same time, in like the same amount, they're also like they're adding like humor to that aspect and like so it takes kind of like the darkness out of it, you know? I
Sure.
think it balances out very nicely.
Right, you're kind of laughing about like the ridiculousness of the situation.
Definitely. Yeah.
Does Mr. Krabs kind of have his own journey within this story?
Yes, yeah. But I'd say his character arc doesn't fall until very near the end of the show.
Okay. So this is a musical, obviously. So they put music to a brand that everybody knows quite well. How do you feel like the music enhances the story of SpongeBob and his friends?
So it's actually really interesting, the music in this show. It was written by several different artists. Each song is written by a different artist. I'm not sure if you were familiar with that or not, but I think like one song's written by Yolanda Adams, another song's written by They Are Giants,
Mm-hmm.
and Brendan Urie from Panic at the Disco. It's just so each song is like unique in its own. Each one's got like a different style. There's like a rock song, there's a gospel song, and I just think it's really cool.
That's awesome. I didn't know that there was a few different artists that were involved with this because I was a very big Panic at the Disco person back in the day. I
Yeah,
know they did
yeah.
one of the songs. Do you have a favorite song from the show?
Oh, it might be towards the end of the show. Squidward has a solo number and it's a tap number. So it's very like old Broadway kind of like kick line and stuff like that. So I kind of like that one.
That sounds like that's a really exciting one to kind of see. And a lot of theatrical ability needed for that.
Yeah.
And have you acted before?
Yes, I have. This is my 23rd production, I think, since 2019.
That is a lot of
Yeah.
productions. How does this one kind of compare to some of your past ones?
When I first started out, I was mostly doing youth theater, so from ages like 12 to 18 pretty much. So now that I'm graduated from high school, I'm trying out for shows that have older people in them, more seasoned actors. So it's definitely a change, but I'm enjoying it a lot.
Um, what has been a highlight of your time on this production?
I guess I'd say like I think getting to work with the production staff and the cast, I'm meeting like so many different people and it's really great to like get to know everyone, I'd say.
And for Mr. Krabs, because he's a very specific character. He's kind of he's got the greedy side. He's very funny, but he's got a little more seriousness to it. How do you get into the mindset of this character?
I took to YouTube a lot and watched a lot of videos because, as I said before, I never grew up with SpongeBob, so I had
For
to
sure.
like, yeah, like you said, I have to get into the mindset of that character. I had to learn a character voice, change my posture, all of that stuff.
It's a lot to kind of balance as you're trying to develop this character, make it your own, but also be true to the source material.
Definitely.
How has this role challenged you as an actor?
So I normally haven't played roles like this before. Normally I feel like my typecast would be like maybe like the male ingenue, a little bit younger,
Mm-hmm.
which Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Krabs, that's like the opposite, got like a gruff
For sure.
voice. He basically like one of his only personality traits is his money. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's
absolutely.
definitely challenged me and pushed me to like different boundaries that I haven't explored before. But I think it's definitely good for me.
Absolutely. And have you had to try on the costume yet?
I did get to try on the costume, yeah. So yesterday and the day before were our full dress rehearsals, and we got to do like full hair, full makeup. We were doing it with sound. It was a blast. And with that, you get to see like everyone's characters coming out even more. So the show is
Oh,
really fitting together now.
is that like what is that like as an actor finally getting to kind of put on that costume and assume that role?
So probably not for every actor, but I'd say for me, I feel my character coming out a lot more once I finally put the
Mm-hmm.
costume on,
For
which
sure.
I think it's very interesting to see.
I'm sure like it's kind of like that last piece, like you've done the voice, you've made you've made those changes, your physicality, your voice, and then getting to put on that costume and kind of assume the role.
Yeah, definitely.
What themes of SpongeBob the Musical do you feel like resonate the most with you?
I think one thing and like one moral of the story that I really like is in the end, like they all like come together and bond to like save
Okay.
their town. And like they just put their differences aside, kind of, and they just come together.
Okay.
I kind of
I
like
love
that.
that.
Yeah.
That's a great one. And what do you hope audiences walk away from this musical with?
Um, I hope it just puts audiences in a better mood. It's a really fun show. The music's very upbeat. I hope just we can take the audience and like give them a fun afternoon or evening to remember.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Elijah. It's been
Yeah,
great
of
talking to
course.
you.
You too.
SpongeBob the Musical runs from March 7th through the 16th at the Bloomfield Players Community Theater, so get your tickets now and we'll see you there.